Language is acquired through social interaction, which makes classroom conversations essential for language development. However, much of the dialogue that occurs in the classroom is very limited. For example, one learner might ask, "What did you think?" The other one would say, "I thought it was good." And the first learner might say, "Yeah, me too." This kind of limited conversation doesn't give learners maximal opportunity for developing their language and thinking skills. Instead, enhanced conversations allow learners to develop their language skills by creating meaning through dialogue. Teachers can strengthen the quality of dialogue by teaching 3 features of enhanced conversations. First, teachers can support learners to build ideas, which requires learners to propose ideas, add to what others have said, and justify their thinking. Secondly, teachers can support learners to clarify ideas, which might also mean that the students need to explain, interpret ideas, or give examples. And finally, they can help learners to support their ideas. This requires learners to ask for information, provide evidence, and encourage each other to elaborate. In order to have these enhanced conversations, learners will need to draw on all their language resources, including their home language or languages, everyday language, academic language, as well as gestures, facial expressions, visuals, and so on. In order to help learners develop the language needed to engage in enhanced conversations, teachers can provide learners with talk moves or conversation starters that encourage pupils to listen and add to conversations as they attempt to build ideas, clarify information, and support their ideas with evidence. These conversational features and talk moves need to be explicitly taught and practiced. To teach the talk moves, you can model them in conversation. You can also help learners to notice particular aspects of language by giving them sentence stems on anchor charts. These can be placed around the room or given to groups to use at their tables. These stems can also be translated into other languages that learners know. To support comprehension and recall, you can use visuals or hand gestures. For example, building ideas could be linked to an image of a brick wall, as we can see here, or maybe a gesture of stacking one fist on top of the other. So, how can teachers use the talk moves in class? Elaborated think, pair, share. In a typical think, pair, share, one learner shares an idea, and the other learner shares an idea, and then they're usually done talking. Improve the quality of the think, pair, share by requiring learners to ask each other at least one clarifying question and one supporting question during the pair share to extend the conversation. Changing the third turn. The most common teacher-pupil talk sequence in a classroom follows an IRE pattern, where 1. The teacher initiates talk, I, 2. The pupil responds, R, and 3. The teacher evaluates the response, E. For example, we can see here the teacher asks, "What does the image portray?" The student responds, "Freedom," and the teacher says, "Yes, good." This pattern has its uses, but to encourage more dialogue and extend learners' thinking, change the third turn. For example, add a question to the end, asking the learner to build on, justify, or clarify their answer. Teachers can also use talk moves to facilitate enhanced conversations through asking targeted questions. For building ideas, they might ask, "Do you agree with George?" Or, "Can you add to what Elia just said?" For clarifying information, they might ask, "What made you decide to?" "How could you?" And for supporting ideas, they might ask, "Can you give an example of?" and "How do you know?" So, why enhance classroom talk? Language development occurs primarily through conversational interaction. Enhanced conversations provide repeated exposure to new topic and content language in a range of meaningful contexts, which is a crucial part of the language acquisition process. Having enhanced conversations provides learners with practice in building, clarifying, and supporting their ideas. These kinds of conversations therefore help learners to develop the skills and associated language in order to participate in their academic studies, to develop higher order thinking skills, and to deepen their knowledge. It's also important to remember that constructive classroom conversations build confidence, self-esteem, and promote healthy relationships amongst learners. Enhanced conversations need to be intentionally planned for and built around an inquiry-based curriculum, where pupils are purposefully solving problems, exploring topics, and co-constructing ideas around interesting projects. Make sure to plan appropriately. So, how can learners engage with enhanced talk independently? One thing learners can do is have a conversation with themselves. They can use the sentence stems or conversation starters that they usually use in class to build conversations with themselves at home. Learners can use tables to help them organise their ideas. This might be good preparation if you want learners to consolidate content, prepare for a piece of writing, speaking, or class debate. It's useful as it helps learners to practice thinking analytically and therefore consolidates the language which is needed for this.